As we get closer to the Georgia primary election on May 24th, there are some interesting developments in the Republican field. A group that is trying to unseat Senator Raphael Warnock. Joining me right now is Chuck Todd, the moderator of NBC's Meet the Press. Chuck, I found this earlier this week, and I found it to be very interesting. Eric Erickson, from a tweet, wrote that more and more national Republicans are starting to give up on Georgia for 2022 in the Senate. They aren't saying it publicly, yet privately they don't think that Walker can withstand what the Dems will throw at him. What's your take on all that?
Well, I understand where Eric's coming from, and I understand, and look, he's got his ear to the ground on that side of the aisle really well, and I've heard similar consternation on the right about this. And there's sort of a, it's funny. I don't want to say that Mitch McConnell is rooting for this. At the end of the day, he doesn't want to see a Democrat win. But Mitch McConnell will not shed a tear if Democrats sweep these races in Georgia. If he can trade still winning the majority with Warnock and Stacey Abrams winning, and you're able to humiliate Donald Trump, that's Mitch McConnell's dream scenario. And I think that's because at this point, it's about the best case they can hope for is they can isolate this problem into Georgia and hope that it isn't something that is but the thing is, while Georgia's the worst or best example, no matter how you want to look at it, of where Donald Trump has just completely messed up the entire political environment for the Republicans, he is, dabbling in North Carolina and dabbling in Pennsylvania and dabbling in Arizona and has made it hard to find Senate candidates in New Hampshire and in Maryland and some places where they could have had some decent candidates. So, it is fascinating. There is a small group of Republicans that are thinking, maybe if Georgia totally goes south, it takes Trump with them.
So that's the ultimate reboot then. You essentially, they've been asking that a number of Republicans about how you reboot the party away from it. That's the answer, is that you fare badly coming up in the election then.
That's right, and people see it, and right. I mean, Mitch McConnell has tried, right? Mitch McConnell will say, I don't know why he would be the leader of the party. No Republican president in 4 years has ever lost the White House, the House, and the Senate in one cycle, and this person did it. Congratulations, right? It's never been done. You come in with the majorities and you walk out without them. I think more voters have to see it, and more elected Republicans have to realize that Trump he's never as powerful as he seems, but they're all afraid of the myth. And if the myth gets punctured in Georgia, maybe they don't fear the myth anymore.
All right, staying with a political theme now, the Senate has confirmed Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson as the next U.S. Supreme Court Justice. The margin in favor, 53-47, 28 years since a justice was confirmed with overwhelming bipartisan support. Can you see a time when that may happen again, or is this confirmation process doomed to the same partisanship that we see elsewhere in Washington for the foreseeable future?
Look, it is hard to imagine. Something has to change in the way Washington works in the country's polarization for us to go back to that time. Here's another challenge for you, Jeff. How about this? Will we see a United States Senate controlled by the opposite party of the White House ever confirm another Supreme Court justice?
Yeah.
That, to me, is the taller hurdle. Hey, getting 60, 70 votes, okay. How about confirming? How about the fact Clarence Thomas, a Republican nomination, was confirmed by a Democratic Senate, right? Can you imagine that in this political era? The answer is a hard no. Now, do things change? It could. I've developed, I have to tell you, I have my own hypothesis about our polarization in this country. I actually think the Cold War was an outlier. We spent 45 years, with a pragmatic streak in our politics simply because we had an existential threat. And once it went away, we went back to the polarization that defined our politics in the 1920s and 30s. It defined our politics in the 19th century, defines our politics today. So, there's a part of me that thinks that this is our normal status unless there's some existential threat.
All right, this Sunday you are going to be talking about the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. More sanctions this week against the Russians, but you know what? Truth be told, the ruble doing very well right now. Is there any economic arsenal left for Washington or Europe to deal with Vladimir Putin right now that would have an impact, or is that simply running out of options at this point?
Full oil embargo, oil and gas embargo out of Europe. But you tell the German citizens to do that.
Yeah.
You tell the Italian citizens to do that.
Nope.
Right? I mean, you tell the, look at how hard we're struggling with the increased energy costs here. Right? Every democracy reacts. We're not alone here complaining about inflation. We're not alone here complaining about the high price of heating and cooling our homes and going to the gas station. So, but that's it. And I think we're realizing that is the lifeline. And so until we figure out how to sever that cash infusion, just as Europe is trying to stop Russia, they're inadvertently funding the slaughter.
Meet the Press airs Sunday morning at 10 o'clock on 11 Alive. Chuck, thanks.